Welcome back to the channel, folks. Let's dive deep into everything going on with the Dallas Cowboys after their Week 1 preseason matchup. There's a lot to unpack, especially when it comes to injuries, player performances, and what it all means moving forward. This game, like most preseason battles, gave us a mix of encouraging signs and some worrying red flags that we need to break down. Starting with the injury front, there were a few players who left the field with concerns that could impact the roster decisions down the line. Joe Milton, the quarterback who stepped in for some snaps, suffered a bruised elbow, which thankfully doesn't sound like it will keep him sidelined for long. The team didn't do any quarterback workouts after the game, which usually is a good sign that the injury isn't too serious. It's always a relief when a player's status is stable after a hit like that, because the quarterback spot, especially for a backup, is so crucial during the grind of preseason. The coaches seemed relatively unbothered, which aligns with the idea that Milton's going to bounce back quickly. However, the injury to Saquon Barkley paints a more cautious picture. He came off the field with a hyperextended knee, which is never something you want to see, especially for an offensive lineman who relies heavily on lower body strength and stability. This update came a little late after some of the initial reactions had already been shared, which means the team might still be figuring out the severity. Hyperextensions can range from a minor tweak to something that affects ligaments, so there are tests on the way, and the Cowboys will be monitoring this closely. The offensive line depth is something the team has leaned on recently due to various injuries, so losing Charles for any significant time would be a blow. His return timeline remains uncertain, but it's definitely one to watch as we head into the regular season. On a similar note, Robert Rochelle's situation also caught some attention. Initially, there was confusion over whether he had been benched or was injured. Turns out it's the latter. He tweaked his hamstring. That's a tough injury to manage, especially in the preseason when players are fighting for reps and trying to make an impression. Hamstring issues tend to be soft tissue injuries that can linger or flare up if not handled properly. Rochelle is someone the Cowboys likely want on the field, considering his potential role, so his absence will be felt if he's sidelined for too long. Injuries like these add a layer of unpredictability to the depth chart, and it forces the coaching staff to shuffle players around and lean on less proven options. Speaking of soft tissue injuries, it seems like the Cowboys have been battling quite a few this preseason. It's always frustrating when players go down with issues like this because it hampers their ability to build chemistry and gain momentum in training camp. The preseason is that critical window where rookies infringe, players can prove they belong, and when injuries pile up, it makes that path harder. It's definitely a concern for the team's medical staff and coaching staff alike, as they try to keep everyone healthy and ready for the real grind ahead. Now, shifting gears to the offensive side, let's talk about some of the key players who stood out, starting with the running game. Phil Malfa really caught my eye. We didn't spend as much time on him in the immediate post-game breakdown, but he deserves a spotlight. He reminded me a lot of his days at Clemson, strong, powerful, and running with intent. There's something satisfying about watching a back who doesn't hesitate and just barrels forward. Malfa didn't lose many yards and was consistently moving the chains with solid runs. His most impressive burst was that 14-yard run that was unfortunately wiped out by a penalty, which was a pre-snap infraction, and those always sting because they take away momentum. Even when you factor in the penalty, Malfa's numbers got a real boost when you look at yards after contact. He averaged well over 1.5 yards after first contact, showing his ability to push through defenders rather than getting stopped dead in his tracks. That kind of toughness is exactly what coaches want in their running backs, especially when it comes to grinding out tough yards between the tackles. You want a guy who falls forward, picks up extra yards, and keeps the drive alive, and Malfa did just that. Malik Davis, meanwhile, had a phenomenal game. His stats were elite: 7 carries for 63 yards, which averages out to 9 yards per carry, an eye-popping figure at any level, preseason or not. Davis was relentless, gaining yards not just on open field runs, but also after initial contact. When a back can consistently churn out that kind of production, it forces defenses to respect the run more, which in turn opens up opportunities in the passing game. Dallas will definitely lean on his ability as they head into the season. Deuce Vaughn had a bit of a quieter game. It seemed like he was on a pitch count, playing mostly the first quarter before coming out. That limited usage suggests that the coaching staff might still be figuring out where he fits into the rotation, or that they want to preserve his energy for later in the preseason. With Malik Davis getting so many carries, it looks like Vaughn is still a bit behind in the pecking order, but his 3 carries for 17 yards were efficient. He also had a penalty that negated a run, which was unfortunate, but overall his brief appearance showed promise. Interestingly, the Cowboys didn't get to see some of their top running backs in this game. Javonte Williams was a healthy scratch, and Jaden Blue was out due to injury. Hunter Lipke was also a healthy scratch. This leaves the backfield in an intriguing spot. The combination of Maffa and Davis is looking solid right now, but if players like Miles Sanders, who remains injured, don't return soon, the depth at running back could become an issue. It's something the team has to monitor closely, because depth and durability are key when it comes to sustaining a strong ground game throughout a long NFL season. So what about Phil Maffa's chances of making the final roster? Honestly, I think he's a strong candidate to at least earn a spot on the practice squad, if not the active roster. His skill set and performance in this preseason game give the coaching staff plenty to consider. Whether he makes it or not might come down to the final cuts and how the rest of the depth chart shapes up, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him sticking around in some capacity. Now, switching to the defensive side, the Cowboys' run defense showed some solid moments, but also revealed areas that need improvement. Against the Rams, the initial numbers looked promising, with the top 2 running backs mostly bottled up. Blake Corum, the lead back for the Rams in this game, averaged just over 3.5 yards per carry and scored a couple of touchdowns. Meanwhile, Jarks Hunter managed around 3.5 yards per carry as well. So early on, the defensive front was holding its ground, but things started to slip late in the game. Backup running backs like Cody Schrader made some big plays, racking up nearly 60 yards on just 5 carries. Another player, Jordan Waters, who isn't even widely known, averaged over 5 yards per carry. This late fade is a red flag because depth on defense is critical in the long haul of a game, and being unable to maintain pressure and contain runners in the later stages could cause problems when the regular season kicks in. Maisie Smith, a defensive tackle, played 14 snaps, and while he didn't make flashy plays, he also didn't stand out as a liability. Sometimes when a player is invisible on the stat sheet, it means they're quietly doing their job. Smith seemed solid but didn't impact the game as much as some might have hoped. It's a mixed bag. He's reliable, but still needs to make more plays to cement his spot. On the other hand, there were concerns about some of the younger defenders. Jaya, who played 38 snaps, seemed to be on the field more than he probably should have been for his experience level. He got turned a bit too often and struggled to keep up with some of the Rams' offensive linemen and running backs. It's a learning curve for him, but the snap count suggests the coaches might be testing him more than is comfortable, which sometimes leads to mistakes. The defensive tackle position remains a concern overall. Even though Maisie Smith seems to be a step ahead of others like Jaya, the depth and impact aren't where you want them to be. This unit will need to improve if the Cowboys hope to stifle opposing run games consistently. Moving back to the offense, it's worth mentioning some of the rookies and how they performed or didn't get the chance to show their skills. Tyler Booker, an offensive guard, didn't see action in this game. There's always a debate in preseason between giving players rest versus getting them valuable reps. For linemen, chemistry is crucial, so sometimes coaches want to keep the starters together to build that connection. Still, it would be good to see Booker get some snaps in the upcoming weeks, especially as the team evaluates depth and talent. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. It appears that one of the most surprising moves in recent NFL history might be happening right now, with rumors swirling that Saquon Barkley, the explosive running back once synonymous with the New York Giants, could be officially donning the blue and silver of the Dallas Cowboys. While nothing has been confirmed on the highest league level yet, sources close to the Cowboys organization have hinted heavily that the star athlete's jersey number may soon be seen flashing under the bright lights at AT&T Stadium. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing about what this potential acquisition could mean for Dallas, a team eager to bolster its offensive firepower after recent seasons of highs and lows. The implications of such a transfer go beyond just a new uniform. It could reshape divisional dynamics in the NFC East, adding a layer of intrigue to every game the Cowboys play. Observers are closely watching social media and insider channels, where speculation is running rampant about how Barkley's style and agility will mesh with the Cowboys' established offensive schemes. The blue and silver colors carry weight and tradition, and integrating a talent like Barkley into the storied franchise seems like a perfect storm of ambition and opportunity. While official statements have been cautiously diplomatic, insiders suggest that the signing could be a done deal. With only formalities left to be completed, this potential switch to Dallas is shaking up the NFL rumor mill with a fervor rarely seen in the offseason. Barkley, who has dazzled fans with his power, speed, and vision, may now be preparing to bring his talents to a team that has long sought a reliable and dynamic backfield presence. For the Cowboys, known for their rich legacy and passionate fan base, adding Barkley could mean more than just improving rushing yards. It could revitalize the entire offensive strategy. The move might also indicate a shift in Dallas's approach to player acquisitions, suggesting a willingness to pursue bold, headline-grabbing talents to recapture their championship pedigree. Speculation about contract details and salary cap maneuvers has already begun among NFL insiders, who believe Dallas may have made room to fit Barkley's salary demands while still preserving flexibility for future drafts. Meanwhile, Giants fans and analysts are left wondering what this means for their own franchise and how they will replace such a pivotal figure in their offense. The chatter about Barkley's potential impact with the Cowboys involves both optimism and skepticism. But one thing is clear, if the rumors are true, the NFC East landscape is about to change dramatically, potentially reigniting old rivalries with new intensity. Among the many questions swirling in the rumor vortex is how Saquon Barkley's playing style would align with the Cowboys' current roster and coaching philosophy. Known for his explosive runs, pass-catching ability, and versatility, Barkley could provide Dallas with a multifaceted weapon capable of keeping defenses guessing. The Cowboys' offensive line, historically one of the league's strongest, might find in Barkley a complementary piece to maximize their ground game and open up passing lanes. This prospective synergy is fueling discussions about how the Cowboys might adapt their playbook to fully utilize Barkley's talents, possibly incorporating more zone reads, outside runs, and screen passes to highlight his agility. Meanwhile, Barkley's past injury history remains a topic of cautious debate among experts, adding an element of risk and reward to the speculation. Fans are envisioning how the dynamic duo of Dak Prescott and Barkley could lead the team to playoff glory, reigniting hopes that Dallas can return to being a dominant force in the NFL. Meanwhile, coaches and analysts are dissecting every possible scenario where Barkley could influence key games, wondering if this addition might finally be the spark needed to push the Cowboys beyond recent postseason frustrations. The buzz around Barkley's possible arrival in Dallas also raises questions about the Cowboys' draft strategies and long-term planning. If this transfer goes through, it might signal a shift away from developing young running backs through the draft in favor of securing proven talent through free agency or trades. Speculation among insiders suggests that Dallas could have made strategic moves behind the scenes to create cap space and roster flexibility to accommodate Barkley's contract, which is rumored to be lucrative but structured to incentivize performance and health. The Cowboys front office, known for bold and sometimes unconventional moves, seems to be betting on Barkley as a cornerstone to build around in the immediate future. This could affect how the team approaches upcoming drafts and free agency periods, perhaps shifting focus towards strengthening the offensive line or receiving core to support Barkley's versatile running style. Analysts are also discussing how this move might impact the team's locker room dynamics, as adding a player of Barkley's stature and personality could bring new energy and leadership, but also require careful management to maintain team cohesion and chemistry throughout the season. Finally, the broader NFL community is watching this rumor with great interest, as the ripple effects could extend well beyond just Dallas and the Giants. Should Barkley officially become a Cowboy, it would not only shake up the NFC East but also influence how other teams approach their roster construction and free agency strategies. Rival teams may scramble to counter this newfound offensive threat, possibly accelerating their own pursuit of high-impact players. The media frenzy around the potential signing is already creating a surge in fan engagement and ticket sales speculation, with Dallas possibly enjoying an early boost in season excitement and anticipation. Meanwhile, Barkley's marketability and star power could bring additional sponsorship and branding opportunities for the Cowboys organization, further justifying the gamble on this high-profile move. As the NFL community waits for official confirmation, the swirling rumors are driving conversations in sports bars, social media platforms, and expert panels alike, creating a narrative filled with hope, uncertainty, and the promise of unforgettable football moments. The excitement and speculation continue to build, leaving everyone eager to see if this blue and silver dream will become reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.